Welcome to the People's Conversation, a new episodic podcast series that discusses Canadian politics from the perspective of classical liberalism. People often ask what the term classical liberalism means, and although there are a few different interpretations of this, classical liberalism generally defines a political philosophy belonging to liberalism in which primary emphasis is placed on securing the freedom of the individual by limiting the power of government. The other thing people generally want to know is where this philosophy falls on the political spectrum. This question isn't so easy to answer because, like anything in life, there is always context. For instance, when you talk about limited government, you're referring to a right-of-center approach, and how far right depends on the specifics. However, when you're talking about an individual's freedoms, then that topic can span across the entirety of the spectrum, as most people generally hold the belief that the freedoms of the individual are paramount. However, in recent years, the viewpoint of the political left has shifted, whereby the role of the state and the needs of the government are more important than the freedoms of the individual. This shift has been so significant that the term leftism was created to delineate between liberals who still hold centrist values and those who have embraced a more radical and socialist worldview. You may now be wondering what the point of all this is, or perhaps, who cares? Well, everyone should care, as the foundational elements of classical liberalism played a significant part in the creation of the Magna Carta and the U.S. Constitution, which in turn ultimately molded the Western world of today, including the shared values that form the basis of our collective society and social fabric. Further, up until the time of Lester Pearson, classical liberalism was still the dominant ideology of liberals and conservatives alike. It wasn't until Pierre Trudeau was first elected in 1968 did things start to change. This brings us back to the purpose of this podcast, which is an attempt to start a conversation to rekindle the core values and precepts that forged the country we call Canada. It is also meant to help people throw off the dogmatic approach of socialist liberalism that we find ourselves living under in 2020. To do that, you can expect to hear a variety of discussions, including topic-oriented monologues, group discussions with like-minded and sometimes not like-minded people, and of course the occasional interview. The podcast will generally deal with Canadian politics and topics, but will also include other topics that are generally important to the Western world. What this podcast is not meant to be is a right-of-center echo chamber whereby we continually rehash the same arguments and everyone nods their head in agreement. A society cannot grow and learn this way, and even healthy democracies or republics must listen to both sides of the debate so that the best ideas can be discovered, nurtured, and eventually become policy for the betterment of the society and the progress of the people. I hope you enjoyed our inaugural episode, and I would like to thank you for listening. Please give us a like and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. And if you're listening to this on YouTube, please also click the notification bell so that you'll be notified when there is a new episode. If you have any suggestions, comments, or would like to express constructive feedback, please drop us an email at mailbag@thepeoplesconversation.ca. We always enjoy hearing from our listeners, even those that disagree with us. Also, please visit our Patreon page and donate to the show. Your donation will help us to do more and will expand the content that we are able to provide. Finally, always remember that a country without basic freedoms, especially freedom of speech, is a country without a future. Until next time, stay safe and be well.